Members of the civilian joint force operating in Damboa local government area of Benue State have rescued one of the abducted Chibok schoolgirls. The girl, identified as Amina Ali, was abducted along with over 200 girls from Government Girls Secondary School, Chibok, Benue State in April 2014. The Secretary of the Association of Parents of the Abducted Chibok girls, Zanna Usman, confirmed her return to Channels Television. She said Amina, who was found with a 4-month-old baby, told the civilian JTF members that 6 of her colleagues died in Boko Haram's captivity. Meanwhile, the acting director, Army Public Relations, Colonel Sani Usman, says Amina and a suspected Boko Haram terrorist identified as Muhammad Hayatu, who claims to be her husband, had been taken to Maiduguri for medical attention. I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by the co-convener of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign, Mrs. Aisha Yesufu. Thank you for joining us on the news at 10 tonight.
Thank you for having me.
How did you receive the news of the rescue, considering it's been a 2-year wait?
Oh, it's with acceleration, so much mixed feelings. In as much as we feel the fact that 219 have been in captivity, at least one of them is back home. We found one, 218 to go. So with so much emotion, it's been an emotional day, so much emotional upheaval. The fact that it's been over 200, it's been over 2 years. Today is 765 days that the Chibok girls have been abducted, and it's 740 days that we have been coming out consistently every day demanding for the rescue of our Chibok girls. And a lot of times we've been told that the girls are scattered, they can't be found, and today one of them has been found. And there's so much credible intel. There's no more intel that be more credible than what Amina will have for us, and telling us that her other schoolgirls, they are all together, they are in a certain place, and they can be found, and they are waiting to come back home. So there's been so much emotion, and we don't know it, it's cry, but I think at the end of the day, what we really feel, I just want to say to Amina, she's watching right now, we are sorry. We are sorry that we stayed this long, 765 days before she was rescued. We are sorry that her sisters are still out there. But one thing we would assure her is that there are Nigerians out here who would not give up, who would not stop, not until our girls are back and alive, not without our daughters, who would not stop demanding for them. And we keep calling on the right authority to do the needful, because indeed today is a day that we need to come together and ensure that 218 of our daughters are brought back home.
Going by what she is reported to have said, there are many more of her colleagues still trapped there in Sambisa Forest. How much hope does that give you of them returning?
It gives us a lot of hope, tremendous hope. Remember, our theme for the second year commemoration of the abduction was Hope Endures. And this is just it. This is what it is all about. Hope endures. And indeed, we have found the enduring power of hope. You know, we have kept on, and it has reminded us so much that our girls are out there. Our girls are waiting to come back home. Our girls want to be rescued. They are our girls. We bring them up, no matter the state that they are in. We want them back. These are our children, and we want them back. We want them back on track. We want them back. The life that the terrorists wanted to truncate, we would not allow them. We will ensure that they get their life. In our children, in this Amina, we have our own Malala, and 218 more of them waiting to come back home.
What more would you like to see on the part of the government and the part of security agencies to expedite the return of those who are still left behind now?
I think on the part of government and the security agencies, what we would like to see is to see the fact that, look, there's such an amazing window of opportunity that has come out now. There is on the issue of intel, we've always talked about intelligence gathering. We have as much intelligence gathering as we can get here, credible intelligence, and that is what the government should be working on. That is what the security agencies should be working on. They should debrief Amina and get as much information and try and put all the needful and put all in place to ensure that 219, now 218, isn't that amazing? It's such a wonderful feeling after 2 years of consistently saying 219. Finally, finally we can say 218 that are out there and waiting to be brought back home. Each and every one of them must be accounted for, and that's the needful. The federal government, the window is out there. President Muhammadu Buhari, you cannot get more credible intel than this. One of your daughters has been rescued, and she's coming back to see you. Meet with her, talk with her, ensure that we get as much as we can out of this. And I want to tell us, Nigerians, this is the time to love. This is the time to show empathy. Our daughter is back home, and she needs us now more than ever before. And we have said this before, and we'll say it again. No matter the condition our children are, they are our children. We can never give up on them. We want them to be brought back home. We want them to be rescued. We want the government to do the needful. As it is, 764 days, we failed Amina. And 765 days today, we have failed the remaining 218 Chibok girls out there. It is time for us not to fail them anymore. The nation state must do the needful. The primary responsibility of government is protection of lives and property. And even though we have failed, this time we must get it right and ensure that 218 of our Chibok girls that are crying out for us to help them, that are crying out silently for us to hear them and come and see them and bring them back home. And before I just came in here, Hajia Fatima Abakaka was saying something to me. She saw one of the picture of the girls, the famous picture we have of the first video that came out, and she said anytime she sees that picture, it simply tells her that the girl is crying to be brought back home. Our children are crying to be brought back home. Please, let's ensure we do the needful and bring them back home. All right, with that, I'm going to have to thank you, co-convener of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign, Mrs. Aisha Yusufu, for sharing your thoughts on the news at 10 tonight, and congratulations to you once again and all Nigerians. The president says that corruption was largely responsible for the inability of the Nigerian military to defeat Boko Haram as soon as it began to launch its attacks. President Muhammadu Buhari, who was speaking at an audience with the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Dr. Ahmad El Taib, describes the loss of 14 local government areas in Borno State to the militants as an embarrassment to the Nigerian armed forces. The president notes in a statement that with the measures taken by his administration to curb corruption and equip the troops on the front lines, Boko Haram is almost completely incapacitated. Now, political leaders in the Niger Delta are appealing to the new militant group in the region to lay down their arms and stop destroying oil installations. At a press conference in Abuja, a former Minister of Information, Chief Edwin Clark, led some elders from the region to appeal to the militant group, commonly known as the Niger Delta Avengers. He's also asking former militant leaders in the region who have benefited from the amnesty program to reach out to the new group and encourage them to accept peace. To legal matters, where the cross-examination of the prosecution witness in the trial of the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, continued at the Code of Conduct Tribunal in Abuja today. Mr. Michael Wetkas, under cross-examination, insisted that the Senate President did not declare the property he bought in London and the loan he used to buy the property at the end of his tenure as Governor of Kwara State in 2011. He was, however, not able to provide evidence showing that the property was purchased by the defendant. From there, we move on to business news for the day. Here's Melinda Akinlami.
You first. First Bank.
Many thanks, Ijoma. Welcome to Business News. The Central Bank of Nigeria released a new financial report today showing that growth in the United States, the stimulus program in the Eurozone, and the falling Chinese economy are taking a toll on the country. In an interview with Channels Television's Business Morning today, the head of CBN's macroprudential, Dr. Mahmoud Hassan, says despite the emerging risk, the financial system remains stable. ExxonMobil has raised its production in Nigeria. Traders say the company has begun increasing output in Kwaibo, Nigeria's largest crude oil stream. On Tuesday, flows were reaching 213,000 barrels per day, and they have gone a notch higher today with a target of 250,000 barrels. The U.S. oil giant declared a force majeure on exports after a drilling rig was hit last week by militants. The NSE Oil Share Index rebounded at the end of today's session as traders defied the labor union protest. Bisi Adebayo has the details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Reports. Midweek session at the local stock market ended with a total of 670.80 million shares exchanged by investors valued at 2.05 billion naira in close to 4,000 deals. The all-share index turned positive with a 0.41% increase to 26,763.86. Market capitalization of listed equities stood at 9.19 trillion naira. Africa Prudential Registrars, USA Property and Zenith Bank all posted gains of over 4% to emerge the day's top three gainers. Tiger Brands, Skybank and Champion Breweries were the top three losers for this session. On the volume chart, Wema Bank pulled the highest units of shares at 380.52 million ahead of Diamond Bank and Transco. That ends the stock market reports. I am Bisi Adebayo.
Thank you so much, Bisi. It was a mixed closing for global equities today on concerns that the U.S. Federal Reserve may raise interest rates soon. Here are some of the figures. That's business news. Thank you so much for watching. The news at 10 continues in a moment.
You first. First Bank.
The race to the government house in Edo State is gathering momentum, and a frontline politician from the state has promised emancipation of the people of the state. Speaking in Abuja shortly after picking the governorship nomination form of the All Progressives Congress, Mr. Kenneth Imaswagbo said he is running for the governor to improve the lives of the people of the state. He gave the assurance of an all-inclusive government that will transform the state.
The atmosphere is reminiscent of a street carnival, as the man known to some people as the Rice Man and to others as the Pace Setter stormed the headquarters of the All Progressives Congress with his supporters to pick the governorship nomination form of the party. In a business-like manner, Mr. Imaswagbo proceeds to the office of the National Organizing Secretary to announce his intention. The Organizing Secretary presents the nomination forms to him with a promise of a level playing ground for all aspirants.
We are going to be transparent, and we are going to give every aspirant a level playing field.
With the governorship form obtained, the aspirant pays a courtesy call on the national chairman of the party, where he appeals for free and fair primaries. The chairman assures him of a level playing field.
Why I'm here, sir, is to say, please, our national chairman, give us a free and fair, credible primaries, and we'll all unite behind the candidate that will emerge. What we want, I don't want to emerge in an unfair process. I do not also want to lose in an unfair process.
One promise I will make, and that is there will be free elections, free primaries, there will be fair primaries, and there will be a totally level playing field.
Done with the visit, Mr. Imaswagbo outlines his vision for the people of Edo State, a vision shared by some of his supporters, including a 92-year-old man.
God willing, I'm going to create jobs head on. Two, they should expect robust agricultural development. In the minimum, we should be able to feed ourselves in Edo State.
By the time he wins the primaries and he goes further to win the main election, he'll be the best person to take Edo to an admirable lead.
He has been very useful to the people, and because of that, we know that he will not steal our money. We have to give him the full support that he needed.
The Edo State governorship primaries of the APC has been fixed for the 18th of June. Mr. Emaswagbon, popularly known as the Rice Man, has once again demonstrated one of his qualities as a pace setter by becoming the first official aspirant of the party.
Survivors of last weekend's attack by herdsmen in Buruku local government area of Benue State have asked the president to visit the scene of the incident. Our community report tonight takes a look at the plight of the people and the reaction of the state authorities.
Now you're talking.
Homes deserted, schools and hospitals abandoned. Everyone has fled for dear life from Benue Council Ward at Mbala Tombo. The only place you can find people is along the roadside and the riverbanks, migrating to safer grounds. These internally displaced people from over 9 wards in Buruku local government area of Benue State were attacked on Saturday by herdsmen who killed 13 people and destroyed farmlands. The 68-year-old woman narrates how her son was killed.
The son was at the site where my elder brother is doing a water factory. So the people came, surrounded them, because they were on the run. But because the young man is as fat as she is, he couldn't run, and so they started macheting him. They cut the legs and started macheting the son, and that was how she lost her son on that fateful day.
All farming activities have ceased because people are afraid. Once they get to the farm, the herdsmen attack them.
The district head of Mbala Tombo, the community that was attacked, and a clergyman gave an account of lives lost and the effect on the communities.
50 people were killed as a result of this crisis, and several casualties were recorded, like farmland, and some properties were destroyed there again because of this herdsmen.
As I speak to you, no school is going on, and you will record no church service here because of the fear for the herdsmen. Even the clinics here and hospitals have been closed.
According to the residents, the attack would have been prevented
if the security men had stayed here beyond 5 p.m. of yesterday. We wouldn't have recorded casualties here. We are told that the police and the army were withdrawn here by 5 p.m. and less than 5 minutes, the Fulani herdsmen struck and killed over 5 people. This is not the first attack. This is not the second attack. This is about the 6th attack in this community, and we have recorded more than 20 deaths.
We called the federal government and the state government to come in immediately, to swing into action immediately. Because what you have experienced here, you see all homes, there's nobody. And we're beginning to have fear, because by next year, this is the farming season. We don't know where we are going to feed our children and other things.
A visibly upset Governor Samuel Otom is obviously unhappy about this development and is demanding an explanation from the security chiefs in the state.
The army, the police, and those people, the civil defense, those who are responsible for protection of lives and property of the state will explain to me, because I cannot explain why they had to do that. Because if we have sent the military, we have sent police there, and my people are being killed, their homes are being destroyed, and the mercenaries are taking over the land, then there is no more rule of law. Honestly, I'm still going to make a report to Mr. President. I will seek an appointment and make a report to Mr. President that this thing is beyond me.
While the attacks rage on across Benue communities, claiming lives and millions in property and destroying farmlands, a real food crisis may be staring the country in the face, as Benue State accounts for 30% food supply nationwide.
Tisala, now you're talking.
A troubling one indeed. We're still ahead on the news at 10. Sevilla make history in the Europa League, become the first team to win the competition thrice. And that's on sports. To join us again.